Damn it, I said to myself, still looking around frantically in every direction, hoping I might see something that would lead me to where Emily is. But there was nothing. The entire place was barren. The only thing that I could see approaching seemed to be Newgate City police officers, squad cars beginning to surround the area. Still a few people scattered in the distance, but nothing that would lead me to Emily. Son of a bitch. I have to get out of here. Would it be worth it to try to call my dad? Get help from biotech? No, there's not enough time. Even if I did call them, it would take time to coordinate efforts. And if I showed up with an army, he'd just kill her. Based on the distance from here to the location he asked me to meet, I said, glancing at the readout in my heads-up display, comparing the distance to what Titan was capable of. 15 minutes only barely gave me enough time. Maybe a minute to spare, at max. There was no time to coordinate efforts with anyone else. 15 minutes was a smart timeline to set. It gives me no time to screw around with trying to figure out a way to kick his ass and get Emily back. I have to play along, I thought, hopping onto Titan and swerving her back around, peeling the tire out and heading towards the rocket sword still embedded in the ground. It only took me a few moments to pull it out, and Titan's body immediately opened up, accepting the rocket sword back into its frame as all of the parts shifted into place. It was at that point that all the squad cars started to accumulate. There were half a dozen of them now, and 2 XPCs showed up on the scene and began approaching me as I put the blade back. "Hold it right there! Don't move!" Police officers called out, holding up assault rifles, approaching, being backed up by XPCs.
"Affirmative. Do not move,"
the XPC said as they charged in first, raising their arm as an impulse cannon protruded itself out of the armor. One on each one of the XPCs pointed in my direction.
"Scanning target,"
they said as they began standing still as they pointed the guns at me, the cops starting to approach.
"Identity verified. Gabrial Moon. Hostile intent nullified,"
they said as the cannons on their arms retracted back in, and they took a more calm, relaxed stance. "What the hell are you doing?" the cop shouted, still pointing assault rifles at me.
"Individual's identity has been confirmed. Gabrial Moon. No known criminal record. Chance of violence against authorities, nil. Individuals currently on biotech property. Hostility against invasive bio-organic life form. Confirmed self-defense. Gabriel Moon under protective order. Ordinance 1. Protect at all costs,"
the XPC said as they suddenly turned their gaze in the direction of the police officers, raising their arms as those cannons began to protrude again.
"Attention, you are threatening a priority 1 protective asset. You will drop your weapons immediately,"
they said, their guns now aimed at the cops, who looked like they were about to shit themselves. A few of them gave no thought to it at all, immediately dropping their weapons and beginning to back away from the XPCs. And the few that didn't do it immediately slowly got okay with the idea, as the idea of trying to scuffle with XPCs just seemed suicidal to them. I took that as my opportunity to hop on Titan, and just like that I bolted, peeling out from the parking lot of biotech, swerving my way through a few parked cop cars, and tearing out into the streets of Newgate City. I had a time limit to make. I had to be there. As I made my way in that direction, I began scanning over information about the area. Blueprints, street layouts, satellite mapping, everything. Anything that I could possibly use. And as I did, only one thing became evidently clear. I wasn't going to be able to tell where these guys were coming from. The location that they chose as the meeting spot was a maze, an endless amount of back alleys running in every direction. Bars, pubs, tattoo parlors, restaurants, even homes and apartment buildings with lots of space and alleyways in between. They could be in any one of them, any building, any alley, any dark crevice. It was the perfect location for an ambush, because there's no telling where any gunfire might be coming from. It was a damn good place for a trap. And as I said before, I had no choice but to walk right into it. None of the information that I had would be of any use. My only option was to show up and gauge the situation moment by moment. "Jax," Titan exclaimed, "this is a bad idea. Based on my calculations, if we're attacked by another one of those things, chances of survival are minimal at best. The area is too enclosed. There's no room for maneuverability, and you do not possess their defensive capabilities. This is a bad decision." "Then what the hell do you suggest I do, Titan?" I replied, the wind racing through my hair as I rushed through the streets. "I don't exactly have a flurry of options." "Perhaps that we simply forget it. Acknowledge that Emily's fate is poor, but it is her own." "What? I can't freaking believe you're suggesting that." "No fucking way," I shouted. "We are not leaving Emily." "My priority is your safety, not hers. I do like Emily, but my programming priority is you. You are my wielder, my one and only operator. Should your existence cease, my existence becomes null and void. I am without purpose. I cannot allow you to be harmed. Strategic combat is one thing. Dangerous outcomes are always probable. But this situation is not simple combat. Statistically speaking, it is highly unlikely that we will survive. Your existence will be terminated, and if mine is not as well, then the point of my existence will cease to be. I'm sorry this upsets you, Titan. I know this is a crap situation, but here's lesson 1 for you in being alive and being a person. If you choose to abandon everyone, the moment that their situation becomes opportune or inopportune for you, then in the end, the only thing you'll ever be is alone. If someone matters, you need to protect them, fight for them, stand beside them regardless of the cost, so long as they stand beside you. If you abandon everyone the moment they fall away into darkness, then when you yourself fall into it, there'll be no one standing there to pull you out. Emily is important to me, and if she's important to me, she should be important to you. Lives are not statistics. The value of a person's life extends far beyond their usefulness to you. Sometimes, regardless of the odds, you have to take the risks. And if you expect someone to take the risk for you, then you have to be there to take the risk for them. So we're going. That's non-negotiable. Titan, do you understand? Titan was silent for a few moments. Affirmative. Command by designated wielder accepted. I am not a fan of this choice. However, statistically speaking, the likelihood that I will be abandoned if I attempt to stop you or refuse to assist is evidently more threatening than taking the risk in the first place. Your chances of success are highest with me present. I will obey the directive given. Well, I suppose that's going to have to be good enough, I replied. For now, remember to keep your mouth shut. We don't want them knowing that you're a person, that you're capable of thinking. As far as they know, you're just a piece of technology, operated by remote control, or something of that nature. The full scope of what you're capable of does not need to be public knowledge to them. In this case, keeping you a secret could be what saves our lives in the end. So when we get there, pipe up and pray that we get an opportunity to turn the tide.